Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhana Samsthan. That is the name of our university. It's in Bangalore, which is the Silicon City of India, where the largest number of IT companies in Bangalore, 1,200 about, and you might have heard of the big giants, Infosys, Wipro, and Tatas and others. It's here that we have our university, and we have got a statue of Swami Vivekananda, which is the tallest statue in the world, 23 feet high, which welcomes all the participants to our campus, the 100 acres campus. And today, in the keynote talk, I wanted to just give you a brief dimension as to how we relieve the stress. Because all these modern non-communicable diseases are essentially stress-based. Earlier they were called stress-induced disorders. Then we started calling them as lifestyle disorders. Today the latest name for these are non-communicable diseases. Asthma, diabetes, hypertension, heart problem, epilepsy, migraine, irritable bowel syndrome, cancer, including even psychiatric disorders like depression, schizophrenia, and many others. So, we have to hit at the root cause of these diseases if we want to give a solution, the real solution to these problems. So that is the program, which is the one that we use, called SMET, or Self-Management of Excessive Tension. The other name for the practical aspect of that is called cyclic meditation, which I will introduce later. That is a brief glimpse about our campus. We have a very panoramic view of the 100-acre campus, and we have the different cottages there, and it truly represents yoga as a science of expansion of consciousness. Once you come to our campus, you feel that you are wonderfully in tune with nature, and the mind expands. That is that we have. We are in the age of technology. The era of science and technology had brought large number of breakthroughs after breakthroughs we had. Among all these breakthroughs, I consider three are the most important breakthroughs. That is, number one is the air travel, then we have the television and the computers, which has shrunk our globe, changed our lifestyle, and brought us to present day growth we have seen. Along with that, we also had many challenges. Among the challenges, the challenge of pollution and stress are the most noteworthy. I remember when I used to be in the United States in 69, 70, everywhere the talk of the town was pollution, pollution, pollution. The cities were polluted, and the ocean was so polluted, all the marine creatures had started dying. And sound pollution, ecological imbalance had set in, and the alarm signal was rung. If people wanted to have fresh air in a place like Los Angeles, they had to go 150 miles away. That was the unfortunate condition. So, millions of dollars were poured into this pollution research, and all universities in the United States were focusing on one central theme: pollution, pollution, pollution. In about 4 or 5 years, we solved the problem. 74, 75, I think the whole problem was solved. What was the basis that we learned by the success story of pollution? Essentially, we as human beings learn how to control ourselves. No indiscriminate throwing of smoke from our automobiles to air. We started using unleaded gasoline. Similarly, no throwing of waste into waters indiscriminately. Though ocean is so huge and so infinite as it looks, the horrendous amount of industrial waste that we started pouring into water, millions of tons every day, so the ocean started getting polluted. So we said, You cannot throw indiscriminately the industrial waste. You have to control the ppm levels before you put the waste into waters. Very strict measures were taken. Then you cannot cut down trees indiscriminately. If you are going to cut down one tree, plant 3 trees, they said. Even in a developing country like Kenya, they made this rule. In Canada, they said, okay, we will allow you to cut down 1 acre of plantation. But 5 years before, you must plant 3 acres of plantation. Essentially, we learned how to control ourselves. That is at the base of the success story of pollution challenge. But the second challenge, the challenge of stress, has gone unabated. Not that we have spent less money. Not that we don't have stress management programs. Every country is spending millions and millions of dollars, but no solution. Student unrest has started growing beyond our measures. Even such a wonderful multi-ethnic society here, we have depression hitting headlines among the teenagers. What a shame. When the teenagers should be bubbling with joy, enthusiasm, energy, vitality, they all become zombies. 30%, 32%. And look at single parent problems. Drug culture and terrorism started growing in such alarming proportions in the United States. And family divorces on the same. Suicides on the increase. Single parent problems increasing. In such a wonderful society as here in New Zealand, why should the suicide become such a major problem? One reason is all stress. And the health hazards. There is high blood pressure, and ischemic heart diseases, or bronchial asthma, respiratory disorders, irritable bowel syndrome, or diabetes, cancer, HIV, AIDS. All these belong to the same category, wherein stress is the basic cause. And we have psychiatric disorders, anxiety neurosis, depressive causes, depression, psychosis, and many others. On one side we have built skyscrapers, such underwater tunnels, fantastic diagnostic tools, and very, very sophisticated surgeries. Cornea transplant, kidney transplant, open heart surgeries have become such a commonplace. We have today 5,000 types of surgeries. You can replace almost every part of the body. Every organ can be replaced. We are now racing ahead to change even our genes, gene therapy. We are doing. All such things will happen. Putting man on the moon, building skyscrapers, everything has become so common. When we have done all these things, why we have not been able to solve these problems? Why should our specialists and super specialists believe once a diabetic, ever a diabetic? Once you have hypertension, it's for your life. Once you have cancer, your days are numbered. Why should this situation come? I consider that there is a basic reason for that. That reason is our knowledge base. The knowledge that we have today about the world around us is limited to the physical world. Modern science has given us almost full knowledge about the physical universe. Refresh your memories. Modern science started 400 years back. Newton and Descartes were the forerunners of the scientific revolution. And after breakthroughs, we have come to a fortunate position today. We know that every object is made out of molecules, atoms made of protons, neutrons, electrons, and fundamental particles. And what are they made of? Small particles. What are they made of? Made of energy, called quarks. You can precisely calculate how much of energy is in given mass. For example, if I convert this small piece into energy, the amount of energy is so large that can burn up the whole of Melbourne. Such is a fantastic amount of energy packed into so-called inert matter. The famous equation E equals mc squared. You know that. So we have learned how to convert mass into energy. But is it possible that energy can be converted back to matter? Even in 1964 this was predicted, and Professor Higgins and Professor Bose from India, they all have even mathematical formulations of that. But it was never experimentally proven. Only recently, 2 months back, we had a big discovery. Most of you know, Higgs boson was found. What is that Higgs boson? No. The first particle that came out of energy. According to modern science, we know that this entire creation started 13.7 billion years back. And before that, there was nothing. Then we had a Big Bang theory of creation, you might have heard of. When the Big Bang occurred, tremendous amount of energy came out. And this energy, how did it convert into this mass? The first particle that came out is called the Higgs boson. And that is about 20 times the size of a proton. And when did it come out? Within 1/1000th of a second, after the Big Bang took place, the Higgs boson came out. How long did it stay? Very short interval of time. 1/1000th of a billionth second. 10 to the power of minus 24 seconds. Soon it spread into large number of subatomic particles. And then it went round and round, and then all this world, the whole creation took place. This is our understanding today. Therefore, we have clear proof today that matter can be converted into energy, atomic bomb, nuclear reactors, and energy can be put back to matter. Everything we know today. Similarly, we know the laws that govern them. Newton's laws of motion, known as the deterministic approach, or classical mechanics, has been understood. We all studied in high school days 3 laws of motion. But when you go to extremely high speeds, like electrons swirling around a nucleus, the velocity is nearing the velocity of light, then Newtonian mechanics will not hold. You have to go to the more generalized laws, more sophisticated than subtle laws. They are called as the quantum mechanics, the theory of relativity, or probabilistic mechanics. What is the difference between the 2 laws? In classical mechanics, if I leave an object, it is bound to come down. If I launch a rocket with a particular speed and a particular angle, you can precisely calculate where this object will be after 5 minutes, after 10 minutes, after 1 hour. There is no doubt, there is no ambiguity, there is no confusion. Everything is determined. That's why it's called deterministic approach. But when you come to the electrons or subatomic particles, the story is totally different. If you leave an electron, electron can come down, electron can go up, electron can go to the right or the left or the top or the bottom. It can spread in all directions. In fact, when you leave an electron, electron grows like a globe. Therefore, you cannot say where an electron will be after 1 second. It can be here, it can be here, it can be there, it can be in that corner, it can be here, anywhere it can be in the world. So you cannot determine where exactly will the electron be. So we can only talk about probability. The probability of finding an electron here is 1%. Probability of finding an electron in that corner is 0.01%, you can say. But the probability can be precisely calculated by what we call Schrodinger equation. Therefore, we have the complete knowledge base of the physical world. We know the structure and the laws that govern this physical world. Therefore, anything physical, we have a big success. All that I mentioned, putting man on the moon, building skyscrapers, underwater tunnels, sophisticated surgery, everything is physical. And the information technology, computers, shrinking the whole globe into a small village, everything physical, physical, physical. Therefore, anything physical, we have been a big success. Then what's happening to science? That wonderful book that came out, Turning Point, written by Professor Fritz of Capra. He wrote that book way back in 1973, and it sold in millions all over the world. Some of the elders might have come across this book. Everywhere the talk of the town, I remember those days, was Fritz of Capra, Fritz of Capra, Fritz of Capra. What was so fascinating in this book? Why did it sell in millions? Because he traced the entire history of science from the time of Newton and Descartes. How the science grew, how the breakthroughs came, what are the new laws that came, and how we changed our lifestyle. How we went on changing our lifestyle systematically and have come to the present stage. And what are the problems that are associated? Everything he has brought out in that wonder book, 250 pages. Then he says, okay, having completed the understanding of physical world, a time has come that we have to go beyond the physical. Either something like life, or prana, or chi, as Chinese tell, or ki as Japanese tell. Either something like mind, either something like emotions. What is the relation between intellect, emotions, mind, and consciousness? Can they exist without the body? Can mind exist without the brain? Can intelligence work without the brain or the body? Obvious answer appears to be no. It's into this region that science has to progress, he said. And is that something like consciousness from where the whole creation has come? So, though we started 40 years back, we have yet to go even one step further. Because in science everything moves very, very, very slowly. 1964, we had predicted Higgs boson proton. But now, 2012, we are able to experimentally prove. Therefore, everywhere except using the term consciousness, we have not made any inch of progress in understanding the prana, the mind, the emotions, the intellect, the consciousness. Therefore, any challenge related to these subtle dimensions of the universe, we have no solution. And stress is one such. Stress is not merely physical. No doubt, a physical trauma can cause stress. But more important is mental restlessness, emotional upsurges, deep-rooted psychological conflicts, or at the base of stress. So stress is a very complicated, very sophisticated phenomenon, multi-dimensional in character. And science is providing only one-dimensional solution, physical. How can you solve a multi-dimensional challenge by a one-dimensional solution? That's why we have no solution. That's why there's a big failure in the modern science and technology to deal with these diseases and the stress. Well, if modern science and technology has no solution, what is the way out? It's here that India comes with a big contribution of yoga spirituality. Where is this available? Where is this knowledge base available? In India we call them as the Vedas. The word Veda means knowledge, to know, vidajnane. Treasure house of knowledge, encyclopedia of knowledge, you can say. And many of you have heard of the 4 streams of Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharva Veda. That's one classification. But there is another classification. That's called Puramimamsa and Uttaramimamsa. Puramimamsa essentially deals with all our rituals, pujas, worship, yajnas, havans, home, all these things, and many things that we do in the mass and church and other things. Ritualistic dimension. And the second part is the science of the Vedas. And the science of the Vedas are contained in what we call the Upanishads. Upanishads form the foundation of the science which gives you the whole knowledge base of the whole creation. How many Upanishads are there? Thousands maybe. I know at least 800 Upanishads in print. Among them, the 10 Upanishads are the most important. Ishakena Katha, Mundaka Mandukya, Aitriya, Taitriya, Prashna, Chandogya, Brihadaranyaka. Brihadaranyaka is the biggest. Mandukya is the smallest. Those smallest are the most profound among all the Upanishads. It is said, Ekam Mandukyame Valam, they say. One Mandukya Upanishad is studied to the depth. You don't have to study any other Upanishad, it is said. And what is the content of the Upanishad? I want to share with you a very interesting story of a king who had 4 wives. And the 4th wife is the one who loved the most. He spent all his time, energy to take care of her. And she also loved the king very much. What about the third wife? Third wife is the most enchanting, most attractive among the four wives. He was very proud of her. Anybody who would come from other country, he will send her. She is an emissary, she is an ambassador, she is a PRO. And she had such wonderful communication skills, she will enchant anybody and bring into the ways of the king. So the king was very proud of her. But in the heart of hearts, he was a little afraid. Supposing she meets a bigger emperor, whether she will run away with him. What about the second wife? She is a very practical woman. She is very considerate. Any problem the king could not solve, any problem the minister could not solve, this lady is there, king looks at, she gives the solution. Each time is successful. So he was also very fond of her. What about the first wife? She is a very loyal partner to the king. She lived in the palace and took care of the complete palatial system. And everybody who came there could see the cleanliness, aesthetics, beauty. And they were taken care of. The hospitality was something superb. Everybody was very, very happy, very, very happy when they entered to the palace, go out of the palace. But nobody knew who is doing all that. She was always behind the scene. But unfortunately, the king did not like her, did not bother about her, did not ask, hey, are you taking food? Also, he did not bother. But it mattered not. She had that immense love for the king. And hers was to give and give and give. That's called as the prema power. And never to expect anything in return. That was the grandeur of the prema power that she had. These are the four wives. Now a day came when it comes to all of us. The king fell very ill. And before long he knew he was going to die. Few more hours left. Then he thought of his luxurious life with all the four wives taking care of him. And then he thought, what is going to happen to me? When I go, I'll become all alone. Nobody to take care of me in the new place where I go. Life will be so boring, so boring. So what to do, what to do? He started scratching his head. Then he gets a brilliant idea. What is the idea? Let me see whether any of my wives can come with me to keep company. So naturally he tells his fourth wife, oh dear, I have loved you the most. I did everything for you. I spent my time, energy, everything for you. Now I am going there. I will become all alone. I want your company. Please join me. Come with me. What will she say? You fellow, you are dying. You want me also to die. Get lost. She walks away. A big hit to the king. Then he turns to his third wife. And now he has to concoct some new story. No? So he says, you see, I have got here super space. Here, I have introduced all VIPs and others. There will be super VIPs. Come on, join me. Let both of us go. And I will introduce to all those big super VIPs. But she says, I am not a fool. A bird in hand is but two in the bush. I am only waiting for that moment for you to die, my dear king. As soon as you die, already I have chosen my next partner. I will not tell who he is. All his fears came true. Then the last resort, the second wife, he goes, you see, my third and fourth wives have betrayed me very badly. You are the only hope. You have solved all my problems in my life. Now I have the biggest problem in the life. I want you to solve. What is it, my dear? See, I'm dying. I'm going there to super space. Nobody to keep me company. I want you to come and keep me company. Then in all humility, with head bent down, she says, oh king, how I wish I could do that. I'm so sorry. I can't do that this time. The best I can do is carry my dead body to the grave or the crematorium. There it ends. All his expectations shattered. The king was almost devastated. Then he hears a sweet voice. Oh my dear king, don't worry. I am going to go with you wherever you go. I will continue to serve you as I have been doing all these years. The king looks, who is that? The beautiful first wife. No? And the king felt so bad, so cut up, so guilty. See, when I thought I have done everything for her and never did anything for her. I did not ask whether you are taking food. How is she looking? Very thin, emaciated, as if she is suffering from malnutrition. Shame on me, shame on me. The king felt too bad. All my other 3 wives whom I loved the most, did everything for her, they all betrayed me. But she is the only one who has come. This is the story of the 4 wives. Now the question is, Upanishad asks, who is that king and who are the 4 wives? It tells us that each one of us represents that king. Each one of us have 4 wives. You know? Who are they? The 4th wife is our fond body that we love the most. We take care of that body, spend all our energy, time, money, everything for it. But no matter how much time and effort you lavish in making it look good, it is bound to leave as soon as we die. We have no choice. 4th wife is going to say goodbye to you. What about 3rd wife, the most enchanting? That is our wonderful building that we have. Newly constructed house with all the gadgetry there. And you are very proud of it. Such a big architect has created this. Come, look at that. And in my bedroom, I can control all the doors and everything I can control. Such is the beautiful technology I put it into. We are very proud. I want to show everybody. What is going to happen to all this? As soon as we die, all this is going to go to someone else. That is, the 3rd wife is going to marry someone else. Who is that 2nd wife? Very pragmatic. That's our family and friends and relatives. They all come to our help to solve our problems. How long? As long as we are alive. But as soon as we die, what's going to happen? The best they can do is only carry our dead body to the grave at the crematorium. Then who is that unseen, always behind the scene, taking care of the wonderful atmosphere and everything in the palace? And that is what we call as our individual soul, Jivatma. It's unseen. And just like the king, we have no time to look inwards. We are always busy outside. If Rajendra says every day you come and practice for 1 hour of yoga. 1 hour of yoga? How I wish I had 1 hour. I would have earned another $1,000 more if I had 1 hour. I don't have time, Rajendra. Sorry. So the preacher tells us, don't regret like that king in the end. Take care of it right now. Looking inwards. And that is the story they say. According to Upanishads, therefore, it says when you look inside, there is something which is unchanging, which is infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, infinite power, infinite freedom. That is called pure consciousness. That is ourself. That is myself, yourself, his self, herself. It is the self of all of us. Therefore, it is called Parama Atman, self of all. And what's its nature? Unchanging reality. And it's from where the whole creation has come. Not only we as beings, but the whole creation has come out of that pure consciousness. And what's its nature? It has no birth, it has no death. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita vanabhuyaha ajo nitya shashvatoyam purana nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Krishna is telling to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita that you are that pure consciousness, you are that infinite self, and that's our original state. What is being killed is only the body. The body comes and goes, and just like we change clothes, we change our body when it becomes old, and you have a new fresh body. That's the concept of birth and rebirth that goes on. And similarly, in the whole creation, there is something that's unchanging. But when you look at all this world, everything is changing and changing. For example, take the body is changing and changing. A billion cells get created every day, a billion cells get destroyed every day. Since you all come to this hall, all our bodies have changed. You have a new body altogether. What to talk about the mind and the emotions and the intellect and the memory stores, everything is changing and changing and changing. Therefore, the great Buddhistic philosopher, Nagendra, he postulated a dynamic theory of this creation. He called it as Kshanikavada. That everything is changing, temporal, he said. Somebody asked him the question, okay, my dear, is there something that does not change? He did not answer. And his persons who came from the Mahayana cult, they said, that is the shunyata, vacuum, there is nothing. But later on when Shankaracharya came, he said, how can you see this fantastic infinite world coming out of nothing? Vacuum, can it come? Doesn't stand to logic. It should be also infinite. Therefore he said, Purnamadaha, Purnamidam. This world is Purna, this world is infinite. That is also infinite. What is the relation between the two? Purnat Purnam Udachyate. This world comes out of that infinite pure consciousness, he says. When this infinite world comes out of that pure consciousness, what remains there? Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Avasishyate. That Purna remains unchanged. That infinite, original, pure consciousness does not change at all. How is it possible? You have $1,000 in your bank, take away $1,000, nothing remains. You have $1 trillion, you take away $1 trillion, nothing remains. X minus X is 0. That's the law of the physical world, law of the finite world. But in the infinite world, infinity minus infinity can be infinity. Therefore, infinity minus infinity is infinity. That's the rule of the God. And then this creation has the seen and the unseen dimension. The seen is the physical world that we are seeing. Seen is the physical bodies that we all have clear indication. But there is something that does not see. And that's called this subtle body and the unseen dimension. And that's the picture that we have given to us by the Upanishad. The physical body or the physical world. Then we have the Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha and the subtle bodies. Then we have Anandamaya Kosha and the causal body. I take the example of an iceberg. The mountain of an iceberg floating in water, in ocean. What you see in the top is only 1/10. All the remaining 90% is underwater. No. Therefore, don't think that you are just this physical body. Tell the Upanishads and Yoga. We all have such a body in the causal body. And that is the dimension that talks about. And our stress starts in the Manomaya Kosha, in the astral layer. And that percolates down to the physical body to become a disease. And that is the concept of the stress coming down and becoming a disease. So what do? Essentially we deal with the physical body and the symptoms. You have cancer, you have radiation, chemotherapy and surgery. You deal with the physical body. What about the root cause here? Manomaya Kosha, the stress. You don't deal with that. Therefore yoga tells you to work totally, in all respects you have to do. And yoga concretizes this wisdom base by our day-to-day life, by systematic process. Asana, pranayama, mudra, panthas, kriyas, several techniques, hundreds of techniques given. And they work at the body level, prana level, mind level, emotional level, intellectual level, and gives a complete solution to the challenge of stress. Not only the theory, but also practice. Many people think that yoga is some sort of a rope trick or a magic or siddhi or supernatural powers. What do you see on the television? You think that some sort of an acrobatic of the body, bending the body to the front, to the left, to the right, and the inverted postures. Or you start breathing acrobatics, blowing the nostril, left to right and all types of things. These are all limited or small constricted definitions of yoga. as Rajendra was mentioning, yoga is the science of total living. The word yoga means to join. What is it that we are going to join? Small little individual personality we are going to expand and merge with the total personality. Raising ourselves from our animal level to become normal human being, great human being, super, divine and human being, and reach the pure consciousness itself. The state of infinite freedom, infinite knowledge, infinite power, which is our original state. I call them as our real home. So yoga is to take us back home. The sweetest home, sweetest. Why? It is the infinite bliss, infinite knowledge and infinite power. That's what yoga says. To do that, Patanjali said, you have to gain mastery over the mind. He defined yoga as chitta vritti nirodha. What is so special about Patanjali? We all have good power of concentration, and we are moving from chanchalata to ekagrita, and millions of people all over the world have tremendous power of concentration. Then can we say that all these people are yogis? Far from it. Because the very same people who have tremendous power of concentration, brilliant, sharp, intelligent people, are getting stuck with stress and tension. Take for example a business executive. He goes for a marketing team. He goes around and works 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours he works. When he returns home, what happens? The same thinking loop, worrying loop, haunts him. And after a few days he starts losing sleep. He becomes insomnia. And then he starts going to the doctor. Doctor gives him sleeping pills or sedatives. And if he's little more progress, he doesn't go to the doctor. He goes to bar. He started drinking. Alcohol will solve my problem. But the same person, after a year or two, he lands up in a big hospital, cardiac ward, having a massive heart attack. That's the problem. So yoga tells that being brilliant or sharp and intelligent is not total. There's a second dimension. You should be able to come out of the worrying loop, remain calm and quiet. These are the two wings of mastery. So unless you have both the wings, you cannot fly high. Yoga gives both these dimensions. So yoga is multidimensional and offers a complete solution to the challenge of stress. A multidimensional solution to the multidimensional challenge of stress. Well, it's all very good, sir, very good philosophy, but if you want something very concrete, some good package, can you give us? No. And that's our thing. Taking into consideration our limitations, we have developed this program called SMET. As I was telling you, if I say that every day morning 2 hours, evening 2 hours you have to do to deal with stress, every one of you come and say, this is not a cup of tea I want. Can you give something for half an hour? It is practical. Can you give something for 5 minutes? It will be wonderful. Can you give something for 3 minutes? Great. Can you give for 1 minute? We'll practice. This is the type of time constraint in which we need today. Therefore we said we have, okay sir, we have something for you for 1 minute. That is called instant relaxation technique. 3 minutes quick relaxation technique, deep relaxation technique. And apart from the relaxation technique, consists of simple basic frame of asana, some standing and some sitting postures. And this is based on the Mandukya Upanishad. In the Mandukya Karika, it gives the whole essence of that. The essence of that has been given in this. It says, stimulate the sleepy mind, relax and calm down the distractions, and when the superficial stresses go away, go to the deep-rooted stresses and remove them and purify them. And reaching that stability, Anandamaya Kosha, just stay in that. That's the whole essence of the spell. Stimulate, relax, stimulate, relax, stimulate, relax. Come down and down. It gives to very deep rest. For example, if a person sleeps for 6 hours, his gives deeper rest more than sleep. How do you know? We did that research. We have shown if a person has deep sleep for 6 hours, his metabolic rate comes down by 9%. But sweating 35% will give 24% reduction. That's what we have been able to show. Transcendental meditation, for example, 15% reduction in 20 minutes. And latest study shows that sweat in 35 minutes can bring 32% reduction. And therefore, it gives very deep rest to the system. When you give deep rest to the system, your efficiency goes up and executing effectiveness increases. How do you know? we have done research to find out what is happening to the brain. We have an advanced center of neurophysiology in our university and recognized by the Indian Council of Medical Research, and there we have been able to measure the brain functions, studies on evoked potential, P300, and the sleep structure. All that we have studied, we have published nearly 20 papers on that, and it shows that we can prevent diseases, rehabilitation, and promote positive health. You know, that's a dimension, and it gives time management. And I will end up this thing with an example which we had in Goa. And it was in 1985, I had a big program. Every evening it used to be for 8 days program. First of all is going to be the theory, then we had the practice, then we had the interaction session. And first day, second day, they all started thoroughly enjoying. And the third day when I was about to start my theory, then one of the person comes and asks, "Sir, I want to share my experience. Can you please give me," I won't take much time, 2-3 minutes. I said, "Please go ahead." He comes, "Oh my dear friends, last 2 days have been a big change in my life." Everybody got opened their eyes. What? Normally I go to bed around 10:30 in the night, sometimes at 11, but morning I cannot get up before 7 o'clock in the morning. I also confess I'm a little lazy. Even though I get up 7 o'clock in the morning, I am not with my full steam until about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Only by 10 o'clock I am with full steam, full efficiency. This has been going on. But last 2 days, I went to bed around 11 o'clock, morning 5 I was wide awake. I never put an alarm. I never decided I want to get up early. Automatically I got up. Then from the time I got up, I am feeling so fresh, so agile. Third thing, evening when I go to home after my office, around 6:30, a big pile of files which I carry home. I am unable to deal with the load going on for the last 5 years. Last 2 days, amazing. By 5:30, I completely finished all my work. I had half an hour to plan for the next day. This is what happens when your mind becomes calm, when the stresses get released, your efficiency goes up and brings about all the changes. And therefore, today when we are going to do this practice, in the last session he has told me that we are going to learn these techniques and get to that level of deep relaxation before you go home. And thank you all very much for your patient hearing. And in the next session I am going to give you the research that we have done for the last 25-30 years in this field. That is tomorrow. Thank you very much.